injuries or maintenance?
Maintenance for today, yeah.
What was kind of the vibe in the room, or when you guys got into the building today?
Yeah, I think it's okay. Everyone has their varying opinions on last night's game, but I was able to go through it all this morning and put it together for some individuals and then for our team and look at the analytics and some of the things we did. And we're encouraged by last night's game. We played much better than we did the night before in Vegas, and I liked a lot of that game too. So just evaluated on the offensive side of it, which was much better. And on the defensive side of it as well, there's still some things that we want to make clockwork that we're good at sometimes and not as good at as others. So a little bit more consistency there. But I think the guys are they're studying it and understanding what we need to do and how fine a line it is between being really good defensively and then giving up some scoring chances that we didn't like. But all in all, I think good mood. Guys' heads are in the right place. I like to evaluate it and be really fair, not just look at the result and then, focus in on tomorrow. So we just had a light skate today, obviously missing a couple guys, and wanted to touch on, a little bit of power play and penalty kill again because it's been really important in the first couple games. And yeah, we'll get them a little skate and we'll get ready for tomorrow against the Islanders.
Coach, is it a lot of, I'm getting to know you obviously, but you come off as a very positive guy. So for you in the locker room, when you start with a stretch like this, when you do see the good things, is it a lot of just going back to fortified numbers, or is it a lot of you just being like, come on boys, you know what we're doing, we're good, keep her going, just kind of your
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. I always say, I'm not going to evaluate our team just on wins and losses, right? It has to be about the way we play. There's different variations of that. I liked large stretches against Vegas, but we gave up the home run play, right? The scoring chances we gave up, even though the number of them was good, our breakdowns were really bad and looked really bad, and they were grade A's in all the wrong areas. And so there was some things that we had talked about all training camp. I thought we did a good job of them at times in the exhibition, but it's a different animal when you get in the league, and I don't think our commitment level was where it needed to be. Even though we worked hard, we competed hard in races, battles, we made some mistakes that we weren't mentally committed enough and physically committed enough in some areas to get back above pucks, and so you want to see those adjustments put in immediately, because it's not like that was the first time we brought them up, right? And the guys did, and we talked about some things offensively that we were much better at the other nights. There's a lot of things that we took major steps in. It was frustrating because there's some goals that went in that weren't great scoring chances, and it's hard to win in this league like that, especially when you're shorthanded. But you got to call it what it is. We talk to our goalies. We know they got to be better. We're going to keep doing everything we can in front of them and developing those habits and taking care of the right areas of the ice. And those habits can pay dividends. Even if you're going through a tough stretch like we are right now after 2 games, the more you hone in on those habits and realize how important they are, they'll help turn the tide for you, eventually.
Are the mistakes that are happening more so of guys just not kind of following the system that you've put in place, or is it more of, I know you talked last year about that fragmenting and just...
Yeah, it's not that. It's mistakes within the system. And it really started, in both games, it started in the offensive zone, not getting above pucks early enough. It's when a puck moves in the offensive zone, if you're not jumping above the puck, if you're taking the wrong route underneath, they're sending it with numbers, right? Now, they made some nice plays in good coverage that led to some scoring chances against. Every team's given them up. Again, we were down on our scoring chances last night. The expected goals against in both games is lower than it was all last year. So, we're nitpicking at some things now just because we haven't been getting the goaltending. But I'm confident that Gorgie's, he'll bounce back too. And I don't know, hopefully it happens immediately tomorrow night. If not, we still got to take care of our business as a group and what we're doing in front of them and trying to hone in on those details. And It's a major step from game 1 to game 2, and then we got to take another one tomorrow.
I'm sure you don't, but do the players, if this was game 12 and 13, it wouldn't be nearly as big of a deal as it is because it's game 1 and game 2. Do you ever sense that kind of with the players where because the record says 0 and 2, it's a thing, but if
I said that last night. If you're 8 and 6 and you lose 2 in a row the way we just thought, we wouldn't think twice about it, right? But that's where we are, right? There's a sense of urgency, which I like. I don't think it hurts you to kind of get driven into digging into the guts of your game right away. That's not a bad thing. We expected it to be a little bit challenging, but this morning's meeting, there was some video on some things we need to correct. There was some video on some good things, but it was really about just our mindset and putting things into perspective, right? I talked about it after the first period yesterday. I thought our team was really that we were heavy, there was a lot weighing on our minds when it's 4 periods into the year and you gotta relax a little bit and play some hockey and have some fun. It's a home opener. This morning I feel like the mood's changed, especially after the meeting when they heard some of our numbers and our analytics. By no means was I beating them up, but at the same time I wasn't necessarily trying to pump them up and either. It's just stating facts, and understanding where we're at and some of the things we're doing aren't as bad as they look, and some of the things that we've been doing on the other side of it have been pretty good. So it's building on that and understanding it's a fine line and just getting our focus on the right thing, which will be the task right in front of us, which is the Islanders. There's no guarantees that there's no guarantees it's going to go well tomorrow. You have to go put in the work and make sure the commitment's there. And if we're all building trust with one another and trusting that everyone's going to do the right thing, and we keep taking baby steps, we'll get there.
I think you could argue that goaltending at this level is almost equal parts mental as much as it is physical.
Yeah.
How do you feel the 2 goalies in your guys' room are handling this mentally right now?
Well, I'm hoping they're working through it. It's not a physical thing for Gorgie. He's a hard working guy, had a hard working off season. He's been really good in camp. He played the game in Dallas, which was half game, which he was outstanding in. It hasn't been great since then, but he has the talent and ability. I think it's a mental thing for him for sure. So we gotta encourage him a little bit. My discussion with him is this: whatever's weighing on him, he's got to stay in the moment. If he lets in a bad one, or there's a bad breakdown in front of him that costs us a goal, and he can't come up with a save, you got to reset and go again. Stop the next one and the next one, and just focus on that immediate task in front of him, and don't worry about he can't start thinking about what he did in game 1 and game 2 tomorrow night. He's got to start fresh, and we've seen him do it before. Game 1 of the playoffs last year, and look at the way he bounced back and how he played after that. I told him to think about what he did during that time, and we're there and we support him and we believe in him, but we need him to turn it around. There has to be a little bit of sense of urgency there. Put in the work and get committed to your craft, which I know he is, and then it's all between the ears.
No, it's only been a few days. Any more clarity on Kahkonen's immigration, when he might get here?
It's a weekend, Sunday, long weekend, right? Holiday tomorrow. I don't expect to hear, I could be wrong, but I don't expect to hear anything before Tuesday on just how the process is going. Yeah.
Is it an advantage? Not so much an advantage, but starting off the season, just the first game on the road and then 4 at home.
What's good for us now, just because where we're at, right? Either way, I think you just play the schedule as it's laid out in front of you. If you're starting on the road, I don't mind that. You got to go grind. You're hammering out some road games right away, getting your game in order. Now we're 0-2. I like the fact that we got a couple at home. Try to get this thing back on track quickly, and hopefully it's just a blip in the radar.
Good.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.